Oh, action.
You're so silly.
So we are here today for our first episode. That's what we can call it, like the first episode, the Doobie Rat, for the Glow series. I am so excited about this episode, not only because we are finally doing what we said we're going to do, but also because I get to do the first episode with my best friend, Chee Smalls. I have to call her Chee Smalls on camera.
Yes.
But y'all going to hear me say Sharika.
Here we go.
Y'all going to hear me say Sharika.
It's Chee Small.
Chee Smalls. And I thought that it was important to do the episode with my best friend because I've watched her journey. And the journey is all about the glow, right? And I want to first say that the glow is not about like financial success, material success. You can glow in so many different ways. And I think it's important for women, especially younger women, actually women of all ages, right? Yeah. To understand that as you glow, you, what do I want to say? Like, I want people to understand that what it takes to get to that stage, right? And it's not easy, but it is a journey.
It is a journey. It's so funny that you say that too, because even in this influencer content creating space, I meet so many women, right? My reach is broad from like 18 to like 70 years old. And even this past fashion week, I met, I think she said she was, I think 64. And she was like, wow. I love you.
Wow.
She can be my mom.
Right.
She was like, I love you. I love your style. You inspire me.
That is amazing.
And she's like, you inspire me to put that on and I feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Like now she's in her glow up.
Yeah.
And I've influenced that. So, I mean, it's more to talk to, but like, as you say that, I'm like thinking about it. Like, your glow up can be at any age and phase in your life. And I think you can have multiple types of glow up. And I'm definitely in my glow up era. So.
Yes, that's right. And we're going to talk about it because it's a forever evolving thing.
Yeah.
And you don't only have to it's not one stage of your life that is going to be focused on the glow. It's like as you grow, you glow, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about just leaning in. I always encourage people to really spend time with themselves and understand what you truly want and then figure out a way to give that to the world, right? Because everyone's going to benefit from seeing you lean into your authenticity.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about that more because I feel like you have more than ever in these past, I'm bad with timing, but just in these past maybe 2 years?
I want to say maybe post-pandemic.
Right.
So what's that, almost 4 years?
So 4 years. Okay.
Yeah,
3 years. Going by.
Yeah.
But these past 4 years, I feel like I've seen you lean into you or into who I've always known you to be. And you've always had hints of that throughout your life. Yeah. But to be able to put it on a major stage,
It's so funny because I've been hearing that a lot from people. Like, you are who I always knew you was to be. Yes. And that makes me think well, what was I before? Or it really just gives me that sense of awareness too, wow, you see me.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And it makes me reflect, what am I doing that's making you see me? Right. And I need to lean into that more. Even in my marriage too. I feel like my husband loves me more now than he loved me when we first met, when we first got together, when we first had, Charlie, when I first, we got married. I feel like he's really seeing this woman that he knew was in me.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole different bond and love now.
Yeah.
Right? Because it all goes back to you loving yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So no one could, it's like you have to love yourself first before anyone can see you or love you for who you are. Right. And so I'm definitely seeing that. I'm feeling that. And I'm leaning in. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I feel good.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah,
you should be. I think, as you mentioned before, but I do think you're doing God's work. I think everyone that leans into who God created them to be, even it doesn't matter what skill you're doing, right? you're doing God's work, because God is like, I created you. That's why I asked. When I pray, I say, God, please just allow me to be who you created me to be. Nothing more and nothing less. Yeah. And I think a lot of times we show up as less because we are scared. We're not comfortable. Yeah. You know, social media has this, like, it changed the game in terms of like, okay, it's people going to judge me, how they going to think about me. You know, so what gave you, let's talk about that. Like, let's go into that. But I do
want to go back to that, because when you talk about ministry and what, like, God-given talent or whatever, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking to Terrence about it. And I was talking to Charlie about it, because Charlie is all into her faith now. I'll tell you about that off camera.
Okay.
But it's like a crazy, just like switch.
Yes.
And I was telling her, like, I think this is my ministry. No, though I'm not, like, you know, saying the word, but I'm giving the word, right? Like, I'm giving hope and inspiring. And I always go back to, like, my community that I've created. Like, I've had women tell me who's recently lost a husband to tell me, like, you inspire me to get back to loving me again. And I'm like, by me just, you know, putting clothes on, like, I am a vessel. You know what I'm saying? And it's so powerful. And I not in my entire world that I thought, like, in this space that it would inspire someone on that level. Yeah. And it's not, that is God's work. Yeah. Right? Even at work, when I'm inspiring young Black women to want to become leaders in the fashion industry and look at me and say, you are such an inspiration. And not just young Black women, even young white women, right? Come to me. I got a note the other day. She was like, what did she said something like, you are one of the best boss that I had. You know, it just made me feel so good. That is doing God's work. That's right. Right? So it's not your normal ministry, you know, Bible reading, all of that, but it's another form of, you know, telling the word.
Absolutely.
Telling the word.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Absolutely. And I guess let's talk. I think it's important for us to talk about that, because influencer, the title, right, is like, it's become so popular. I won't say it's overused, but it's become so popular that I think sometimes people, it's like a stigma attached to it a little bit.
Yeah, no, it is.
Right?
It's a little bit of a negative one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I think it's important to, like, you're an influencer, but you're influential, right? You're changing, like we talked about, you're changing people's lives. You are also, there's depth in between, underneath it all, that I feel like not enough people know about, is that you've been in fashion for, I told you that 17 years. Yeah. And now you're the senior director of product development at Coach. Yeah. Right. Let's talk about that. Like, one, I want to know, what made you get into fashion? Like, what was the beginning of, like, this is the industry that I want to work in?
I feel like fashion has always been a part of me, right? Growing up in Harlem and growing up in a world where hip hop was coming up, and you had, like, the Misa Hiltons and the June Bros, and you had the hip hop videos and things like that. I just felt like, and just growing up in East Harlem, like Harlem, the culture is embedded, right? Fashion is embedded, right? You came outside to get fly, right? Like, you laid your clothes out on your bed, and you was just, you wanted to get up so you could put it on. I always say, I love to put it on. I love to put it on. So I knew for me that I needed to be in this space. When I was young, I didn't know what it was, right? Because my first job was at the Gap, right? So I did retail a little bit. I did visual merchandising at the Gap. So then
you got us a lot of discounts.
I got a lot of discounts. Remember the Gap flashes?
Yep.
Right?
We go to 86th Street real fast.
Yes. So I did that, and then I had started a blog in, like, 2007 or 2005, and then I wanted to work at, you know, Teen Vogue and all of those magazines, right? And I just really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be in fashion. Like, I knew I wanted to be able to, you know, have a job where I could dress how I wanted to dress and express myself through my style and be free, right? And fashion just means so much to me.
Yeah.
My mother always says, and I feel like she'll tell it to whoever asks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this story, but she'll always say, like, when I was like 2 or 3, people would ask me what do I want for Christmas or my birthday, and I would be like, clothes. And she'll always tell that story, but like it's always been like clothes always made me feel really good. Like even picture day, everybody would just have on t-shirts and jeans at elementary school, and I remember this little velvet dress in purple and black polka dots that my grandmother took me on Route 4 to get at was it JCPenney's, and it just lived in me. It's around me. It's how I approach the world. So it was a no-brainer. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. Yeah. Right.
And you've always been consistent, fashionably.
Yeah.
Fashionable. That's the word, right? Fashionably. Yeah. Like you've always been consistent. And like I remember every time we would come out, like you would always, like you said, you put it on. Yeah. Like you always had your outfits together, high school. I feel like you was the first one with the Vincent. Maybe so, I don't remember. But were you? You were, right? Yeah. I was the first. Yeah, no, you're the first one. I mean, the prices was steep too, so I had to build my way up to that.
I made my mother like I think back. I go, oh my God! I made her buy Prada American cups. I made her buy all of these hot pad Moschino pants. I would go down to Brooklyn to S&D's and buy all of these things. And my poor mother, she had no money, but I guess that was her way of investing in what I liked, you know, and what brought me joy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I need to thank her. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. Like, you know, and I'm thinking about it now, like, maybe that was her way and her sacrifice. Like, okay, you know, I know this is what makes her happy. Yeah. Let me just kind of, you know, we ain't got it, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And you did well in school, too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember she would always say, well, she do good in school.
Yeah.
We're going to get these sneakers.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't do nothing around the house. I had to do a chore. I didn't do nothing, right? Because I was the youngest of 4.
Yep.
And all I had to do was do good in school, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I loved school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you got flyers. And
what's
it called?
Best Dressed in High School
with Bernard.
Yeah, with Kels from Harlem. Yeah,
Kels that run. His family runs Harlem Haberdashery.
Yeah,
but I was in it correctly.
Yep, and 5001 Flavor.
5001 Flavor
that dressed all the rappers.
Yep,
back in
yep. So them two were best dressed.
Yep,
in their class.
Yep,
the yearbook. Senior
senior year.
So it's always been embedded in you.
Yeah.
I think that's also a part when I talk about like figuring out what it is that you truly want to do. I think you'll see hints of that when you take time to really think about yourself and what makes you happy. I'm always like, what lights up your world? There's a job in that. Like figure it out, and there's a career in that. You know.
But I think back then you didn't know.
No, you didn't know.
Yeah, back then.
Saying, you see hints of it as you figure it. Like, it's always been in me.
Yeah. I had to sit back and think about that too, because, you know, now that I'm on this platform and I am speaking more and things like that, I had to really like reflect on my journey, and because I know these questions would pop up, things like that. Right. And I was like, wait a minute. It's always been in me.
Yeah.
So it is a consistent pattern with me.
Yeah.
So you're right.
And then I think what's also unique about you is that, again, going back to you being the senior director of product development at
okay. Listen, nobody really knows what I do. People think that I'm the senior designer. They think I'm the creative director. I be like, oh, thank you. I mean, I'm honored, but please, no, I am not that.
Yes. But when you talk about that, I mean, when you think about that, like, you really understand fashion beyond just the put it on. Like, you understand threads, you understand fabric, you understand all of that.
The product creation process of it all,
So what is that? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day? What does that consist of?
I mean, it's really problem solving.
Yeah.
Essentially, it is taking something from a sketch and bringing it to life and managing that entire process in between. Right. And it's managing all these different departments that interface that helps create that product. Right. I always say, like, if you look at a wheel, right, and I don't know the names and the definitions of the parts of the wheel, but if you see that, well, you know what? A nucleus of the cell. a nucleus. It's the middle. That's product development. It is the heart of the product creation. So though, design is like the brains of the idea, product development executes it.
Yes. Got you. So,
right.
So y'all are working hand in hand.
Hand in hand. That is my best friend.
Got you.
That is like my partner.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have merchandising, because then merchandising are the people that tell you this is the product we need for the store based on data, analytics, and just holes in the assortment. So the three departments work. It's like a triangle.
Right. Yeah. Got you. And so, like, I know you take a lot of trips overseas, do all of that. Like, what are you doing when you're going?
So it's really, and then, right. So when I go overseas, it's really communicating that intent to the factories, right? Because you can do it virtually, you can do it by email, but it's nothing like going into the factory, looking at a bag, seeing, the drape, like the drape is not right. We got to go back and look at the pattern. Let me take a look at a pattern. Can you print out the pattern for me? So then I can see what the shape looks like. No, this is why this bag is not draping right, because the shape right here in that corner, that's not right. Yeah. Tell your pattern person to redraw that. Yeah. Like, right. And then it also helps with timing. Yeah. Right. So, right. Because overseas, you're not wasting time. Yeah. As far as being a senior director, now it's all about building processes and systems and being strategic. So when I go overseas, it's not just about, the bag and the details, right? It's about what systems can we put into place to get faster turnaround, cost reduction. I want to onboard another supplier because of, let's say, location, because it's taking too long to get back to the States, just those types of things. Right. That's what those conversations feel like. And is looking at materials, looking at how the process is happening, learning things so you could take those learnings and apply it back to your entire process. Because then there might be things that, okay, in this process, maybe we need to change it, because what I learned overseas is that it's actually adding 10 extra hours to the production by making that time. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? So you learn those things firsthand, and it's good to go into factories, talk to the people that's actually making your product. Yes. Right? Because it's good to bring it back, and then you can just apply it to what you're doing in-house. So that's basically what those trips are. And they're pretty long, but they're amazing because you get to see the culture there. You get to learn the culture there. And the people that work in the factories are amazing, and they're super duper smart. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's also something that I love, because I can bring that back. Yeah. Right. So when I'm at the table and we're talking about product, and I can be like, well, such and such and such and such. And they're like, oh, right. Yeah. So, because I could imagine, like, there's not a lot of people that are jumping to take those trips. Like, they're tedious, they're long. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the younger, I see, like, a lot of the hungry, they want to go. Yeah. Right. But I love going on those trips too. That's good. It's a learning experience.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to talk about, like, careers as well, because just, our communities, younger women, I think it's important for them to see what else is out there, right? Sometimes you don't know, like, I don't know if you knew that job was available to you.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I was interning at a small fashion boutique. I don't know if you remember, when I had, like, those little silk dresses. Yeah. And I was their PR, like, coordinator, assistant, or whatever. And because the company was so small, I would have my hand in everything, right? I was looking at production samples. I was looking at lab dips. I was doing all these things. And I thought it was just so interesting, because when you think about it, when you go into the store, right, you're just like, oh, this is pretty. You try it on, you like it. You don't really think about what happens in the back end to get that product. Right. So I was firsthand seeing it, and I just thought it was so interesting, and the intricacies and the processes behind it of getting that lavender to be that lavender. Right. It's actually super difficult, especially based on the fabric and all of those other things. And we could talk about that later, but and I was like, okay, this is it. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
That's where it was like, I felt it.
I felt it. But I think where, that doubt and all of that, those challenges come from is that, I didn't have a design background. I didn't have a product development background. I didn't have any of that, right? I went to school for journalism because, again, I wanted to write in Teen Vogue, and I wanted to write about fashion. And then I quickly changed to advertising and public relations. So I didn't have that background. So I didn't really know where to start. I just knew right after that internship ended, I was like, how do I apply to these types of jobs? And they said stylecareers.com. I don't even know if Style Careers?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is my first time here.
Okay, yeah, stylecareers.com. And I remember going on there every day in the morning, very disciplined, going on there and literally applying, I want to say at least 50 to 70 positions. And I didn't even know what these positions was. I just looked at the job description. I'm like, I can do that.
Right.
No, damn well I can.
Right.
Right. But I'm like, I worked at the Gap. I did this. I'm like, I could probably do that.
Right.
And three companies called me back. Norma Kamali, Ralph Lauren, and Coach.
And all 3 interviews?
I did. Norma Kamali was for PR.
Okay.
Because they saw it on the resume.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't apply for the PR position. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Ralph Lauren, I went for one, but it was for like something like trim or something like that. And I'm like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess with that because that was something that I knew that I did not know how to do.
Right.
And then for Coach, it was production. It was like a production coordinator or assistant.
Gotcha.
And when I went into the first interview, I didn't have the experience, but she liked me.
Yeah.
And she was like, I like you. I'm going to introduce you to someone who's looking for an admin. And she was like, are you okay with that? And I'm like, yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, for one, if you're telling me that I don't have the experience, and I also know that, at least this is a way to get into the door.
That's right.
And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to learn, I'm going to navigate through.
That's right.
And that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. I poured my heart out in the interview. It was not the most professional. I kind of was like, listen, I really want this.
Yeah.
I will prove myself.
Yeah.
I will do whatever I need to do. I will take classes. This is what I'm telling this woman. I'm like, just give me a chance.
Yeah.
Just give me a chance because I was so tired. If I applied to another job, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, let's try.
You got the job.
And it was Ann Siri.
Nice.
You ready? Yeah.
Because you went with Ann
to Walmart and came back. But yeah, it was Ann Siri.
Amazing.
Yep.
And that's also something that's important is like when you do a good job, the network that you build in that process, like I've experienced that too. They want to take you with them as they grow, you know, and you start to build a legacy for yourself in that industry, you know. So it's all about the work coming first, you know, because I'm sure Ann didn't just like you because of your personality. Your work ethic, everything that you was bringing to the table.
Yeah. After I went in and I proved myself and probably, I think it was like maybe like 4 months, 5 months. I was like, all right, this is cool managing your calendar and all that, your expenses, but I want to do what they're doing out there. And she was like, you know what? Shadow such and such.
Yeah.
So she gave me a manager. I think she was a manager at the time. And she was like, shadow.
Yeah.
I was like, I can? She was like, yeah. I developed relationships with head of design. I learned the processes. I took courses at FIT at night, how to make a handbag, retail math, color, like how to read color. Yeah. Because those was all things that the job required. And then a lot of it is just learning on the fly. But I made sure that she knew that this is what I wanted. Right. Because I always believe in like closed mouths don't get fed. Right. Like I didn't want to do her calendar anymore. She was lovely, but I'm like, this is not feeding me. Yeah. Right. This is not feeding me because now I'm about to get bored and then I'm not going to do a good job. Yeah. Right. Because my heart's not going to be in. Yeah. And I felt like I had prayed for it. So I'm like, all right, I got to do my part. Right. So, and it just worked out. Yeah. It just worked out for the best. Yeah. So, it was fun times, though. Yeah. Fun times.
You was committed to the process, which is important.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't.
You weren't trying to cheat the grind.
No. Yeah. You know what? I couldn't because I didn't know the work. Right?
But you were doing research to figure out what's the work entails, how can I get better at the work, what else there's there that I don't know, where the holes, that's all important.
It's about being resourceful, it's about being resilient, and building those relationships. Like, I built an incredible relationship with one of the most difficult designers on Coach. I will never ever say her name, but to this day we speak, and she is lovely, and she was one of the hardest. So it's all about building relationships too. I always say it's not what you know, right? It's that relationship you build, it's the trust that you're able to build, right? And I was able to do that at such a young age, coming right out of college and into corporate America, but also, just very young in the career too. And not knowing, right? Because with me, I didn't have anyone that was like, except for you, the closest to me. I didn't really have anyone that was working in corporate America. I had no one to help guide me through the politics of it all, how to show up professionally. I didn't have that. So I really had to kind of navigate that space by myself. Which was kind of hard. Now that I think about it, I honestly don't know how I did that, but I think it was just the love of the product, the love of the industry. I read a lot of magazines. I envisioned myself being in a space. Right. It wasn't too clear, but I'm like, I'm going to be successful. I want to be successful. Right. So I think that helped me in a way.
Getting up every day, taking it one day at a time, and just figuring it out. Navigating. I know it's scary, right? Because me too. I didn't know what I was walking into going into the music industry at the age that I went into it. Thank God I had people equivalent to your end that were helping me to navigate through it. But every day it was something different. As you grow, you enter these new levels of just how am I dealing with this? I went home plenty of days crying, all right, how can I figure this out? But a lot of prayer. But also just staying committed to no matter how glamorous that world was, the work is always going to come first for me.
Right.
And I think that allowed me to supersede all of the other things that was happening in the industry. And probably same for you. It's the work.
The work comes first. You have a plan, you have a vision for yourself. Right. And I was very committed to that. And I wanted to be in that space. I wanted to have a higher position. I wanted to be able to drive change. I wanted to be able to contribute. I wanted to do all these things. So, I had to make it happen. And it's all about community too, and having people breathe life into you. And my husband is amazing. They've been amazing. My mother thinks I can walk on water. That's amazing. You know what I mean? You need those. You need those. You need that, right? And then prayer, of course, and faith. And you just, you got to push through. You got to push through, and it's hard. It's hard. Even managing different personalities during all of that. It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
I think I would say it feels like courage is the through line, right? For everything, it's you had to be courageous enough to own your style, walk out no matter what anybody else thought. It's I'm putting this on because this is who I am. You had to be courageous enough to enter into a field that you didn't have any experience in, but you jumped into that. And then you had to be courageous enough for this new stage of life and not worrying about what people think, but I'm gonna put this reel out. I'm gonna take this first step. Because I will say, I remember you being scared. So how, is this gonna look okay? I don't know what your fear was exactly, but there was fear in a sense of seeing how people would react to you presenting yourself as who you are, really. But I know and I will say, like, when we did the reel, right? The Pinkestluv reel.
Yes.
I needed you to do the reel because I'm promoting the brand. But I also was like, this is going to help her get, like, so let's just do it.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like so much.
It was so successful. It like jump started. I think too, and I don't think you know this too, when I first took the leap and was like, you know what, I'm going to do this full time. Not full time, excuse me, but I'm just going to do it. I was doing everything in my stories. Because in your stories, things leave in 24 hours. Yeah, it's less pressure, right? And I was like, all right, I'll do this. And then I remember speaking to you, and you were like, girl, you were like, girl, I can't be looking at these stories. This is too long. You need to wrap it up and put it in a reel. And I was like, okay, thanks for the support. But it was helpful because it pushed me to get out of the stories and get on the main stage. Yeah. And that's what birthed Chee's Try On, right? One of my successful piece of content that people love and gravitate towards. And
I didn't say it like that, though. I said, you should package it up.
It was like, girl, I'm busy. I want to support you. No, I ain't got time, girl. Anything is long.
I'm a marketer at heart. So I'm like,
I love it, though.
Yeah.
I love it, though. It made me sit down. And I'm like, listen, if you feel that way, then there's so many people that feel that way, right? So I was like, all right, now it's time to pivot.
Yes.
But that's what, right? Because I was doing it for 6 consecutive weeks? Like, it was a lot of weeks that I was doing it for. And it was time to pivot. Yeah. It was time to put on my big girl panties and like get on the main stage. Let's kind of re-strategize. What's the strategic, like, what's the why? Why are you doing this? Like, come on, let's do something different. Yeah. And it kind of put me in a space to do that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Listen, from when you have friends, you have to be able to...
I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Right? You have to be able to give feedback. You have to be able to be authentic and be like, girl, no. You got something else? You know, like that meme where it's like, I got ready and you get ready and your friends be like, you got something else? You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to... You have to be be able to, you know, say that to your... you have to be able to say that to your friends. And I think that's what a lot of girlfriend groups are missing.
Yes, I agree. You gotta have the hard conversation.
You have to.
I don't want to really, like, not for my, like, core group. We don't need to have a surface level conversation. No. Let's get dirty, and some of it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's okay.
But, you know, it's from good intention. Right. Yeah. I might get
Yeah, you do that a lot, too. Yeah.
Here we go.
Like, what?
What? But then, you know, when you sit back, you be like, all right, that's right. That's true.
And we also don't care. And it's like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't. This friend group do not care. I swear, y'all do not care.
My Najee was telling me, she was like, because I did something at one of our family get-togethers, because it was, you know, everything that was going on with my career. And I was like, I don't want to talk about work. Like, and Najee was like, you could have been a little nicer. And I was like... yeah, maybe you're right. So I went and followed. And I think that's also part of growth, because I'm like, right, let me follow up and not be so stuck in my ways. And you got to be open to receiving the constructive criticism.
1,000%. I would say this too. You guys might not think that. You know, even my husband might not think that. But like my old boss always would say, she would say, out of everyone in my whole entire career, you are the one that would always take the feedback and run with it. Yeah. And because I do want to be a better person.
That's right.
I do want to be better at my job. I want to be a better mom, better friend, better wife, better daughter. Like my mom just yesterday, she was telling me, I went to go see her yesterday. And she was, you know, I didn't invite her to Charlie's birthday dinner. But not because of, I was just like, it was just a little dismal, small, and like, you know, trucking all the way to Long Island and have to come back, right? I couldn't drive you. Yeah. And I saw like she was a little sad about it. And normally I'd be like, Mom, you'll get over it. Right. But I was just like, I literally felt bad, you know? And then she was like, you know, just next time. And I was just like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Next time, you're going to get an invite to everything. Yeah. And then I was like, well, do you want to go to the homecoming on Friday? She was like, nah, I don't need to go to that. Oh, okay. Yeah. but taking the feedback and really trying to apply it, just so you just be a better person. And so I'm trying.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's all we can do, because we are a group of women that are stuck in our ways in a bit. So
pretty much.
Yeah. But going back to like the forever evolving glow, like you forever evolve as a person. It's never too late to like, I think some people are so stuck in their ways that they feel like this is just who I am.
That's who I am.
And it's like, no, you can change. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And even if people don't accept the new you, then you don't need to be around them, right?
Yeah.
Like, they don't, like, if they are shunning who you are, it's like, kind of like.
Listen, I'm all about being around people like your people, your community, people that love you, that pour into you, right? And all of that other stuff, then they got to go.
Yeah.
Right? They
can't handle growth.
No, they can't. They want you right where you were.
Yes.
Right? Because that makes them comfortable.
Yes.
Because then they're not growing.
Yes. Yes.
Or it makes them a little bit more superior than you.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And that's not good.
Yeah.
You want to be around people that wants to promote your growth and wants to see you grow, even as they grow. It's like motivation.
Yeah.
Right? I never want to be around a group of people that's just stagnant.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, we all need to grow together. I think that's why our friend group is just so bomb and dope, because we're all just continuing to elevate, and not just even careers, but just personal growth, wise, spiritually, even physically, just like, self-care and all of that. Like, we're all just like growing in our careers and our relationships. People are getting married, people are having babies. Like, it's just, it's an amazing group of friends.
Yeah, I agree. I encourage everyone to find their tribe.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes work. Sometimes it's, thankfully for us, we grew up together and it just all worked together. But I will say this, and this has been on my mind as of lately, like, you have to, as you get older and life gets more busy, you have to be more intentional about nurturing your girlfriend, your community,
Because life can happen and it can fall by the wayside. And not intentionally, it's just things just happen. So, I think it's so funny, Najee had texted us. Right? Yeah. It was acknowledging, like, I see us intentionally, showing up for one another more often. Yeah. And I think we have to continue that momentum. For sure.
I agree. So we talked about your career. We talked about your new career, because that's a career in itself.
Yes, it is. And I'm so excited about it.
I'm excited for you. And I think you are just like, you haven't even scratched the surface of what this is ultimately going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. And I'm really excited. Like, I see it for myself, like when we talk about not cheating the grind, like, you don't cheat that grind either. You treat that as a second job.
Girl, I'm tired.
But you see the fruits of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone, people see the glamour.
Yeah.
They don't really get to see the behind the scenes, the long hours, the editing. You taught yourself how to edit.
It's so crazy. I taught myself how to edit. It's great. I could call myself an editor, a copywriter, a producer. Like, on my reels, like, I produce that. Like, I have a vision in my head, and I'm like, I get my team. I have a team. And I'd be like, this is what I want it to look like. And, so it's like that creativity that I needed.
Yeah.
It's like that outlet that I needed that my current job couldn't give me. You know what I mean? Like, even when we were younger, like, I always secretly wanted you to be like, you want to be in this video?
I never knew that.
I know, no, I'm telling you now. Like, I'm
learning things.
And you're like, you never did it. I'm like, I could dance, I could do or whatever. But now, like, I'm creating like one of the reels that that is so successful that I did with one of my friend Carolyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my vision, my thing. I'm like, I want to recreate that. So, like, I'm now living what I wanted to do back then, but in this space, in my way, which is it's kind of dope. It's kind of
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think I also think it's all what's part of your glow is the fact that, and this is for anyone, I encourage this with everybody, like doing what your heart really wants you to do when you're living your purpose, because there's so much stuff that I feel like, and it hurts me to even think about it, but people, they let their dreams die within them.
Yes.
And that takes toll on you. And I think it takes toll on how you show up. I think it takes toll on your happiness, all of those things. And so I think it's just good to show people and talk more about like what it feels like when you're really living your truth and not worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I need to talk about that more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because that's one thing that I don't. I just have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
and
this.
Yeah. No, for sure. Just like this. Yep. But I know we'll be working on that soon.
Yep. Yep.
Too.
Yep. Rum Girl Productions.
But I'm excited to share that because I realized that it's a gap.
Yeah.
Right. And people really crave that.
Yeah.
And in my DMs, and people say that all the time about me, like you're living. I love to see it, and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping people, by seeing me, that they could do it themselves. And they realize.
I think they are ready.
Yeah.
And you just, you're going to reach more and more people.
Yeah.
But I think people are already, like you said, a 64-year-old woman walked up to you and said,
we were at an event. I thought it was like the craziest thing, right? Because you always think like, you know, you should be inspiring me. Like you're older than me, you're wiser, you have more life experience, but to see it be the other way around, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay because people have different, people are in different seasons in their life.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it just felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt so good to know that I'm out here, you know, doing the Lord's work.
To win the Lord's work. Oh, seriously. And that's why you're being successful at it, because God knows it's authentic. And he's going to continue to pour into you and continue to give you the tools and the resources because you're being who he created you to be.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
I'm finally doing it.
Yeah.
And I love it here.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here.
That's right. I'm just growing. You got to keep growing in that space.
Yeah. Scary, though, but
that's okay.
It's okay. We're going to do a skid, right?
We're going to do a skid. I've seen the most, just the happiest moments come from shaking behind in my boots, sweaty palms. But on the other side of that is the most gratifying experiences.
Yeah. I see, look, I was scared to do this. Remember? I don't know. That's fine.
Right. And I just didn't understand. I'm like, we're having a regular conversation. I know. Nothing rehearsed.
I know. But you know, I'm not in this space often.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, this is practice. I try to be in this space often.
More and more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we breeze through our childhood, right? And I think that there are so many. We talked about friendship. We talked about the importance of friendship. But I think what's unique about us is that we literally been friends since toddlers.
Yeah. I'm the reason why you're here.
She loves saying that story.
You
want to tell me?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Okay. I have 1 minute, right? So the story is, right, I was born, and we live in the same complex, right? So I was born, my mom brings me home. And her mom comes upstairs because we lived in the same building. She comes upstairs and she's like, I have to see the baby. She comes in and was like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful baby I ever seen. Now I want a baby. And 18 months later, so here she goes. So I am the reason for her existence, right? Because if I wasn't around, if I wasn't born, if her mother didn't come upstairs to come see me,
she wouldn't have had the desire to have a baby.
Now, right? You could have been like a boy or something. You know what I mean? But like, this is God's divine. Like, this is. You know, we're like sisters.
We are. We are. I always say that. Like,
I mean, your mom is. Yeah, I mean, your mom is my mom.
Yeah,
but she don't play at all. You know, I would never forget coming outside the building in these short Gap red shorts, and your mother see me from across the street, and she was like, "Chee, you back in the house? Choose those shorts." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Did you go and change them?
I changed those shorts. I'm not dealing with Cheryl. dealing with Cheryl at all.
Do you remember the time when she was like,
I remember everything.
do you remember we was going to dance theater in Harlem because we had to, so we were in dance groups together.
Yes.
We had Mousketeers with Troy, which we say was one of our best times of our lives.
It was the greatest time of our lives. Like, we were in this dance competition.
I need to.
We were at the dance competition. And we practiced in Harlem. It was Morningside.
Yeah, we practiced. We practiced in Morningside Park. Thank you.
Yeah. We had competitions. We would always win. We won first place all the time. And it was just so much fun. Like, we danced. We who was the DJ that did our mixtapes? DJ Demo.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
DJ Demo classic, whatever. I just remember because of the song. And we all just like dance. You needed to shoot.
Yes, I needed to shoot because I'm laughing so hard that I literally am like crying. But yeah, so DJ Troy was our coach. We had a whole dance coach. And this was like straight, well, it was All Stars.
It was All Stars. That's what it was called, All Stars.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't have like your iPhones. You didn't have any of that, which to this day, I'm like, we have no footage.
Yeah, I know footage.
Just seeing of the crying during practicing, the just like practicing every day after school. The arguments we had with one another, but then like all the competitions, it was so good. It has to be somewhere.
JJ came to every one of our fashion shows, which is another friend. When we talk about friend groups, it doesn't only consist of girls. It's guys that we grew up with that we're still friends with to this day. And he used to come every. And they used to video film it, but I don't know.
They don't have the tapes. No. I always ask them every 5 years.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, it'll turn up. Yeah. And no, it hasn't turned up yet, which is a shame.
To reach out to all.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think if you do it, somebody will find the tape.
We'll find
it. Yeah.
All right. That's on my list. And then my mother used to be in there telling me,
You better break.
Embarrassing me. Who gets in trouble for not dancing hard enough?
Well, you had to dance hard. Like, this is a competition. I felt tough because I'm breaking, I'm sweating. And you're like,
because I would come alive during the show.
No, you got to practice that. You got to practice the energy. You got to practice the energy.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. No.
And then Rashida. Yeah. God bless. We miss her dearly. She passed away, but she was part of the group as well.
Yeah. You know, I think about Rashida. I actually think about her all the time.
Yeah.
I think about her all the time.
Yeah.
I miss her.
I miss her too.
Yeah.
I miss her so much. She and that was my mistake. She came to practice with us one day.
I think so. And she learned, she learned the steps. Like, yeah, you can dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I totally remember that.
And Rashawn.
Yeah, Rashawn. She was to get with her. Come on, Rashawn.
Yeah. Yes. No, those are beautiful times. And then to think about like our childhood, then we didn't go to school together up until high school.
High school, yeah. We went to Randolph. Yeah. Fun times. Yeah.
Then you went to Penn State. I went to Rockefeller University. I didn't go to college though. I went to John Jay and graduated with my bachelor's, but I was going back and forth. Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to experience the college campus life. But I remember y'all used to have so much fun. I came to school.
Yeah, you came to school. Yeah.
It's school.
Yeah, I think you came for homecoming, I think.
Yeah.
You
learned how to drive with Keisha. Because Brandon, you know what? Me and Brandon.
Yep, y'all came up. Yeah. Wait, Keisha taught you how to drive?
Yeah, she took me to the parking lot. She always says that. Yeah, Keisha taught me how to drive.
Wait, I can't remember that.
She took me into wherever you...
I'm sure.
She's probably
yes, we had the town hall. She probably took you into the parking lot where all of us learned how to drive.
The parking lot.
Yeah. We all learned how to drive in that same parking lot.
So she was like the first, and then I just started getting more comfortable from her.
Oh, Keisha. Shout out to Keisha.
We were just talking about it at your birthday.
Yeah, that's
like, I can learn how to drive. So Penn State, you went to college, and then I think what's exciting is like which was like a cool moment. I thought was like us going to Fashion Week together. Like, it was it all together.
Yeah, it was like a full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot.
People did. I think people like, I feel like I've seen so many people comment under my picture when I posted it.
Because, I think people also who don't really know the background of us really knowing each other, they remember us from like Ebony and Ivory. Yeah. We had our boutique. When we launched the boutique, 2018. Yeah, 2018.
That's about right.
Yep. So people know us from that too. So people do know us from fashion, right? We always, when we go out, we put it on. We put it on, right? Yeah. So I think that's also, fashion is a part of our friendship if you think about it, right? Even when we were younger, we used to shop together. Yeah. Right? We used to share. I mean, we don't do it now. I mean, I don't mind sharing clothes, but she'd be like, don't put it, no, you cannot try that on. No. But we used to share clothes.
I know, I'd be like, I'm like, you're gonna wear it, then they're gonna see us today.
Nobody care about all that. Nobody care. But yes, so it is in our friendship ethos. Yeah. Right. So it was a good moment to experience Fashion Week. So I mean, like I said, it's only the beginning.
It's only beginning. That's right.
Only the beginning.
That's right. And I didn't even plan on doing it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. Fashion Week is pretty cool. Yeah. They say, I was having a conversation with my management team, and they were saying, creators, they think it's a burden. Yeah. So I was like, well, then they need to leave so they can get on my seat.
So they dread it, like they don't.
But it shouldn't be that way. Yeah. Right? Fashion Week shouldn't be that way because that is the one time that you really, really shine, right? It's inspiration all through the streets of New York. It should be a fun time. Yeah, it's tiring to go from one event to the next, but overall, it should just be an empowering, motivating, right? You get to, you see beautiful works of art, right? And the people that love it, the people that write about it, and the people that make it. And you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be a burden. Yeah. It's so funny. I was just telling her, well, then tell them give up this. Right? Because I'm here, trying to get into those seats, and it is hard. Yeah. Right? It's hard to go to a show. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So to be able to, so I'm bringing it back to the point, like to be able to,
Colin
wants an appointment
Sunday.
What I said was getting back to the point, it also, it did feel good to, do Fashion Week together. So.
Yeah. I actually, that was my first time ever going to a runway show of like a high-end brand. And I enjoyed it, like, not because of just the clothes. Yeah. I was like, how is this? I like this. I, like, really enjoyed it. Yeah. Shout out to Pat Bow. But she has an amazing, I think it was 2025 resort line.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
But it was great.
Spring, summer.
Yes.
Joggers.
Yeah.
No, that was a joke.
Joggers? What does that mean?
Sheree?
I don't
get it. She doesn't watch reality show. Jesus Christ. They were talking about
she not Sheree.
Yeah, she. Yeah. All right, get it. All right, she missed it.
I missed it.
And you were like, joggers, and he was like, wait, no.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, she didn't have any joggers in the runway.
You caught it, right?
But yeah, I think this has been great to talk about. So we talked about so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I want you, like, so what is the next phase of Chee Smalls, the fashion influencer, Chee Smalls, the fashion executive? Yeah. What do you feel like, when we talked about manifesting, like, what is, you don't have to share everything.
Yeah. No, of course.
What do you feel like that next phase is like?
It's so funny because I'm starting to think about that now. Yeah. Right? I had a call. We've been talking about it. Also had a call with my manager. So I'm thinking about it. So I don't really know. But what I can say is this, that I'm very excited about it. I'm very open. Yeah. Right? I'm open to all possibilities. Like, I'm envisioning myself in a space that is having my own show. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I want to really take this platform. Like, I want to start to build out my brand, right? Like, my brand.
Yeah.
I would never thought I'd be talking about my brand.
Yeah.
So really building out my personal brand.
Yeah.
What does, what does product look like? I still want to do my closet, show and whatever that ends up being. We talked about that for years.
Yep. Yeah.
And as far as fashion executive, I'm also, it's so funny. I just had a conversation with my SVP and she asked me the same question. She was like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Do you want to work overseas? Like, what do you want? And I told her, I was like, you know what? I'm open to what that is, right? My first answer will always be, I want to keep on moving up.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's not really always the next step. It could be a lateral move, right? So it can be into shoes. Yeah. It can be into ready to wear. It can be into just even a different department. Yeah. Right? So I'm just open. I think I've been in product development for a very long time that I just know. I know some of the challenges. I could do it in my sleep now. Yeah. Right. So
you're not as challenged.
It's not as challenging. Yeah. Right. So how can I take what I've learned over the years and apply it to something else and experience that and learn from that and grow from that and contribute to that space. But sky's the limit. And I'm going to do it with fear. A lot of times, I would talk myself out of things. A lot of times. But I'm like, we have this one life. That's my new thing now. Yeah. That's my new thing now.
Yeah, I think about that too.
Right? If I could tell my younger self that, if I could tell anybody that, you have one life. There's no sequel.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Let's go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Yep.
Right? Because there's always going to be something that you can bounce back to.
Yeah.
I can always come back to corporate.
Yeah.
I can always do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because I preserve my relationships. I've worked hard. Right. I can get something. Right. So it's kind of walking not in fear anymore. Yeah. But walking by faith.
Yeah.
And it's up.
Yeah.
It's up and it's stuck.
It's up and it's stuck. They say if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Right. You got to be a little scared.
Yeah.
And then I saw this quote and it's certain times, this is when I'll be like, okay, IG is worth, it has its good.
Yeah.
But it was a quote about it was Arthur Ashe and it was something about you got to get past the point of wanting to win, worried about winning or losing. And just doing it because it's what you want to do and that's what you love. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to stick with me. And I feel like it's kind of like what you're alluding to. Is we get one life. We got to do everything that's in our heart. We got to figure out. It takes planning. I'm like,
oh, yeah, no, yeah, you definitely got to plan and you got to, do risk management. Yeah. What's the risk and everything. I'm not saying leave your job and go and try to be president. You know what I mean? Not doing that. But what are the steps?
Yeah.
Right.
But my point is that a lot of times we don't plan our lives the way we take care of everything else, right? It's no, you got to sit down and write that out. Yeah. And however it's the same thing we apply to our day job.
Yeah.
It needs to be applied to
It's so funny. I was talking to Janae, another content creator, a friend of mine. And she was like, girl, you built a whole team at work. You've done all this. You've created the tabby. You've done all of this work that requires so many different competencies.
Right.
Why can't you do that for yourself?
That's right.
Why you can't do that for yourself?
Right.
And I had to think about that. Yeah. I took that and I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It's scary though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because a job allows you cushion.
Yeah.
Fallback. Right. But it's time. It's time.
And you're going to play, in the beginning, you might play different roles for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you're not going to have the access to all of the people. But that's okay.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
It just takes more, but it feels different when you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Hence me noodling doing it for myself.
Yeah. It's about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I love it for me too. But, I like doing stuff like that.
I know. I caught her on camera doing it.
But I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for all that is to come. I know you know this, but I am by your side every step of the way. It's nothing like growing together. You know, it's just so much fun. It makes life so much more exciting.
It's easy.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. And yeah, any last words that you want to give to your audience or anything you want to say? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I know. Dream big.
Yeah.
Move out of fear, move with faith, love yourself. That's one thing that I had to really do and learn, is to love myself and have confidence. And the sky's the limit, bet on yourself all the time.
Yep. Q Biggie, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
All right. No, we don't have the license.
Oh, but I thought I was about to hear it.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are concluding.
I'm so honored.
Yes,
I'm so honored.
Of the Glow series.
Because she is a tough cookie, child. Because if she ain't believing you, I will not be here. So I know, I'm doing something right.
No, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, boo.
I'm proud of you. Stop. Or what is it?
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Glow series with Chee Smalls. Make sure to follow us at Pinkestluv. And as always, everything that you want is within you. So continue to do it scared and continue to live to your potential.
Hey, Love Girls, we talked about navigating our careers and being courageous to be our authentic selves. Now, you tell me how you're navigating through your career so you can always show up as your authentic self. I'd love to hear from you guys.